Ladies and gentlemen, hello and welcome. Thank you so much for being here. My name is Otis Landerholm. I'm the founding attorney here at Landerholm Immigration, A.P.C, where we fight for your American dream. Thank you for being here. Welcome to another episode of the Empowered Immigrant Live. I got a lot to say today, and I'm really grateful for each of you for being here. We're talking about a green card update for 2024. What's going on in the world of green cards? What's going on with immigration? And so welcome and thank you for being here. Remember, the Empowered Immigrant Live is here to train, teach, inspire, and empower immigrants to make the most out of immigration laws and to make the most out of their lives. Today our theme is a green card update for 2024. And, do you want to get a green card this year? Do you want to at least see what your options are this year? Do you want to apply for something, some way, or at least see what way might there be to come out of the shadows to apply for something to fix your immigration situation this year? Because if so, go for it. And I'd love to help you with that. My firm is on a mission to win 10,000 immigration cases in the next 10 years. We would love for your case to be one of them. All right? Thank you for everyone. Whether you're on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, TikTok, thank you. Thank you so much for being here. My name's Otis Landerholm. I'm the founding attorney here at Landerholm Immigration, A.P.C, where we fight for your American dream. As always, I like to start with a quick empowerment tip, okay? My tip today is to get rid of guilt. Get rid of guilt. Some people feel guilty for having come to the U.S. Okay? Some people feel guilty for leaving behind their family. Feel guilty for someone else maybe getting sick, that they weren't able to travel and visit that person. Some people feel guilty all day, every day. And sometimes they come and they meet with me and they start crying with shame and guilt for how bad they feel because they couldn't go and visit their mom or their dad before they passed away or whatever the situation. And sometimes it's horrible, right? But the guilt doesn't help anyone. If that's you or if you know somebody that's in that, do me a favor, take a deep breath. And find a way to get rid of the guilt. Oh, but lawyer, you don't understand all the bad things I said or all the bad things I did or all the good things I should have done that I didn't do. Guilt. Well, take a deep breath, let it go. Get in communication if you need to. Tell the person that you feel guilty for what you did or for what you didn't do. Meet with a counselor or a psychologist if you need to. But do something to free yourself of that emotional pain. All right? I really recommend everybody take that on if you experience that. Okay? That's my empowerment tip today. Hope that's useful. Hope that's helpful. Now I'm going to switch gears. We're going to talk about immigration law. It's what are green cards? Let's talk about the basics. What is a green card? Right? It's a card. It's a stupid piece of plastic. No one actually cares about the card. No one, it's a stupid piece of plastic. No one cares about it except everyone wants what a green card can represent. All right? You don't go through a whole legal process just to get some card. No, you go through a process to get what a green card can represent. And what is that, everybody? What is it? Freedom. Freedom. Freedom to work. Freedom to travel. Freedom to live your life. Every day in my firm, 20, 30, sometimes 40 people call my office every day trying to see if they might qualify, how they might qualify to get a green card. And so that's what I want to explain today. Like, how can I get a green card if I'm undocumented? Good question. If you have that question, welcome and thank you for being here. Okay? So it's like, what are the common options to get a green card? Let me go through them. All right, there's about 7 that I want to go through. We can talk about them. All right? Option 1, marry a U.S. citizen. Okay? Or marry an immigrant who's going through one of the other processes we could talk about. Marriage sometimes creates an option. Now, don't just do it for immigration purposes. That will mess up everything. That creates an inadmissibility against you that's unwaivable. You can't do that. It's got to be a legitimate, bona fide, you love the person, you want to be with the person, you want to form a life with the person. All right, marriage. But if you have that, sometimes, not always, but sometimes that can create an option. Okay? Yesterday, a woman came in for a consultation. She doesn't have any case, right? She doesn't have a case for herself. But then I asked, are you married? We go through our standard process. Oh, yeah, she's married. Oh, does your husband have papers? No, not yet. But he's applying for asylum. Oh, bingo, right? Let's maximize your husband's chances of winning his case, and then that fact can benefit you, right? Sometimes marriage can lead to options. Big option number 2, if you have a child who was born in the U.S. and who turns 21, right? Now, you can only get a green card from a U.S. citizen child, if they're over 21, and if you entered the U.S. lawfully on a visa, on parole, or you were waived through, like in a standard process with procedural regularity is the term, process through the border. If you don't have that lawful admission into the U.S., then you might very well need to apply for a waiver, be eligible for a waiver. Or you could do it if you have a child in the military. Okay? But option number 2 comes from having a U.S. citizen child who turns 21. Okay? Option number 3 is what we call cancellation of removal. And these are applications in immigration court, right? If you have a spouse, parent, child who is a U.S. citizen or a green card holder, and if it's a child, they've got to be a minor, right? They've got to be under 21. And we would have to show that that person would suffer an exceptional and an extremely unusual hardship if you were deported, all right? And there are other requirements about good moral character and about 10 years of physical presence. Talk to a lawyer first. Those cases are very, very risky. Don't just do them, all right? Really have a clear conversation with an attorney. You can really only do it if you're in removal proceedings. Let me say that more clearly. You can only do it if you're in removal proceedings, all right? And so they are risky processes. Talk to a lawyer first. Option number 4 is through the U visa process. If you've ever been the victim of a crime, or if somebody in your family, right, has been the victim of a crime in the United States, even if that person was a minor child who's a U.S. citizen, they don't need a visa themselves. Sometimes the parent can get a U visa, all right? My office has won a lot, right? Hundreds and hundreds, maybe, I don't think thousands yet, U visas. We've won thousands of cases overall, but U visas, it's in the hundreds. But U visas, to get a green card through a U visa, you have to first win the visa, which can take forever. All right? And then after you win the visa, you got to wait 3 years, and then you can apply for your green card. But that is a viable option. There's 200,000 U visas pending throughout the United States. That is one of the options. Okay? Option number 5 is asylum. All right, which is not easy. Okay? And to get a green card through asylum, you've got to win asylum first, which is not easy. It's not fun. It often requires going to immigration court, sometimes not, but often it does. You got to win your asylum case first, then you've got to wait a year, and then you can apply for your green card. Okay? The waiting a year thing, there's some changes in that. You might be able to apply early, you just can't get it approved until after the year's done. So talk to your lawyer about that if you have questions about that. Big option, big type of case number 6, all right, is VAWA. What's VAWA stand for? All right, who knows? Right? You know, I wish I were interactive with each of you right now. If you're just tuning in, we're talking about green cards, how to get a green card. VAWA stands for the Violence Against Women Act. Violence Against Women Act. VAWA. All right, we're talking about domestic violence. It's not just for women, though. All right, it works men, women, children, parents, same-sex couples, you know, heterosexual couples, whatever. Right? It doesn't matter that. All right, but if you were abused or subjected to extreme cruelty by a spouse, by a child, by a parent who is either a U.S. citizen or a green card holder, you might qualify for VAWA. Okay? Sometimes VAWA can give you an opportunity to apply for a green card. Okay? That's number 6. Number 7 is what is called Special Immigrant Juvenile Status. All right? In Spanish, we call it La Visa Juvenil. All right? A lot of people refer to it as that, even though it's not technically a visa. All right? This is for kids. All right? Typically you've got to be under 18. There are some exceptions. Some states allow you to go through this process even if you're slightly over 18, but you have to do it before 21 regardless. But you have to show that you are a child who was abused, abandoned, or neglected by your parents. And if you're in that situation, right, you came on your own as a child and you were abused, abandoned, or neglected by your parents. If that's your situation, you might have an argument, all right? And it doesn't have to be abused, abandoned, neglected by both parents necessarily. If that happened with from one of your parents, that can sometimes lead to this option. Those are the 7 most common ways to get a green card in the United States. Okay? Those are them. Hope that's useful. Hope that's helpful. All right? Now, there are other options that exist. Registry. All right? It's still a thing. I'm not going to get into that right now. If you've been in the U.S. since 1972, all right? NACARA, Nicaraguan and Central American Relief Act. That was passed in the 90s, right? Suspension of deportation cases, certain waivers. There are other options for green cards, but they're tough to qualify for nowadays. There's employment-based and the diversity green card lottery for green cards. Typically, they don't work for undocumented people. They don't work for my clients. All right, so I rarely talk about them. It's not what I do, right? Those are them. You know, those are them. That's basically it. And so what's the update? Well, the update, right? Processing times right now are still very, very bad, right? They're a little bit better in my experience than they were a year ago. They're certainly better than they were during the pandemic. But it's still much slower processing times than they were before Trump's first administration. Okay? What's another update? Well, I don't know if you saw in the news. This week, USCIS announced that it's increasing its filing fees. Did everybody catch that in the news? USCIS Immigration is increasing the filing fees on many case types, green cards included. All right? Those fees are going to go up for the government. The government fees are going up starting April 1st of this year. And I'm going to do a separate training, and I've got video and presentation. We'll be uploading that to YouTube. Check out our channel in YouTube to see that. All right? Now, what that means is if you've got an immigration case, if you're preparing your immigration case already, like let's get that case on file, or let's do everything we can to get it on file by April 1st. Right? So that way you avoid the increase in government filing fees. So that's happening. That's another update. All right? What else is going on? Well, the election is looming. Can you believe it's already February? Right? Can you believe it's already February? November is right around the corner. We don't know what's going to happen in this next election. It is time to get moving on your immigration case. Right? If you're eligible for an immigration application, it's time to get moving on it. All right? Do not delay. This week, what else is going on? Right? You guys following the news? This week, Biden said that he would sign a law if Congress passed something that allowed him to shut down the border in certain instances. All right? Crazy statement. All right, that's a crazy statement. I don't know if you saw that in the news. I don't take it seriously personally because I think that he knows Congress won't pass any such law. But it's like politics are happening. Every day there's news about immigration and about the border and, politics are happening. You want to follow it. This year is a year to follow it. Okay? I don't know if you saw it this week, right? Republicans are wanting to impeach Department of Homeland Security Secretary Alejandro Mayorkas. All right? I don't know if you saw that. They argue he hasn't been upholding the law with regards to the south border. All politicians are saying there's a crisis situation at the border right now. No one seems to know what to do about it. Okay, that's happening. That's going on. Meanwhile, there's a war happening in Palestine. There's war happening in Yemen. There's war happening in Ukraine. Like, it's a crazy world we live in. And it's happening. That's what's going on. All right? So let me tell you, it's like we can't control what's going on in the world. But we can control what we do. We can control what our actions are. We can control and take control of our own life, how we treat others, how we treat ourselves, what we do to improve our own lives for the future. And that's it. That is what it's all about. That's what life is all about. And I don't really see, I've talked a lot right now. I don't really have any questions coming in. If you have a question, send it my way. Right? But it's like, man, I want each and every person listening to me to take control of your own life. Think about what you want to create, what you want to go for. And if immigration is anywhere in that, hey, I'd love to help you. All right? And I just want to say that, like, don't wait. Don't put it off. Life is now. All right? So thank you. Thank you for being here. That's all the time we have for today. If this was useful, if this was helpful, please take a moment. Go to our channel in YouTube. Please subscribe to our channel in YouTube. When you do that, please click the notification bell so that you get notified whenever we upload an additional video with updates and news and with immigration stories and with what's going on. All right? And if you have an immigration case, if you have immigration questions, if you have, you know, unclarity, uncertainty, if you have immigration records to review, if you've got anything that my office could do to help, please reach out. All right? We are here to help. We would love to help. All right? It is what we do. Okay. So I see some participation. Thank you, Bella. Thank you for your comment. You say hello. I say hi back. Thank you. And Marcos Cortez, you ask, my deportation proceedings were terminated. Congrats. Anybody that's in deportation proceedings right now, all right? Any person who's in deportation proceedings right now, talk to your lawyer. See if you can get those proceedings terminated now while prosecutorial discretion exists, because if a certain former president wins the election in November, he will end prosecutorial discretion as we currently know it. All right? And so talk to your lawyer. See if you can get it terminated. It could benefit you. All right? And Marcos, to your question, can I get a green card? Just having deportation proceedings terminated does not mean that you're eligible for a green card. You've got to get it terminated and be eligible for a green card through one of those options that I discussed earlier. And so it depends on your situation. And what I would recommend for you, give our office a call or talk to your lawyer, and let's really look at it and see what options might be available. Now that those deportation proceedings were terminated, that's great. Now what can you apply for? Okay? Whether that's asylum, whether that's a U visa, whether that's a family-based case or whatever, that's what we would need to do. Bella, I see your question. I have withholding of removal, all right, withholding of deportation. I have an I-130 through my husband. My individual hearing's coming up in 2 weeks. Got it. If you have an individual hearing coming up in 2 weeks, I hope that you have individual hearing, it's trial time, right? So if it's in 2 weeks, you don't have no more time left. You should be prepared. You should be ready to go. You should have all your evidence in. You should be fighting that case 100%. All right? So I hope that you have, and it's internet-based, great, right? I hope that you have a lawyer. I hope that you are very well prepared for that individual hearing and you have a clear strategy, and it's like you're ready to fight, whether it's for withholding or whether it's through your husband's petition for you. Okay? And so I wish you the best of luck with that. My strategy in a case like that, if it were a brand new case, I'm not recommending you do this, Bella, because you're at go time right now. But if anybody were there and somebody hired me with 2 weeks to go, we would do everything we can to move that date. All right? Motions to continue, saying we're brand new attorneys on the case. Let's prepare. This is what's going on. We've got to get things ready, because there's no way we can provide adequate representation in just 2 weeks. All right? For trial, not a chance, right? So the individual hearing is the trial in removal proceedings in immigration court. Anyway, Bella, thank you for asking that question. I wish you the very, very best on your case. All right? If my office can support you in any way, please reach out. We'd love to. Okay? So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for being here. I'm going to stop right there for now. I'm going to do the same episode in just a minute in Spanish. So if you want to tune in to our episode in Spanish, please join us there. All right? I wish you all the very, very best. All right? Thanks, regardless of what platform you're on, all my friends here on Instagram and TikTok, YouTube, Facebook, LinkedIn. Thank you all very, very much. And Marcos, I see your question there. You have an application for I-485, Route 42B, maybe through an EOIR 42B case. Does that help me? Well, there it's like EOIR 42B, that's cancellation of removal. But if your case was terminated, then you no longer have that pending, right? So that actually does not help you. So we have to look. The I-485, though, could have been submitted through something else, right? And so the best advice there would be, hey, let's review the record. Let's really look at it. We could request FOIAs, or we could just review all the records that you have to give you better advice about what options there might be now that your case is terminated. Okay? Give us a call, Carlos. We'd love to help you with that. Anybody listening, if you have an immigration case, if you have an immigration question, please give us a call. We're here to help. We'd love to help. It's all the time I got, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you all so much for being here. My name's Otis Landerholm. I'm the founding attorney here at Landerholm Immigration, A.P.C, where we fight for your American dream. Thank you for tuning in. I'll see you on our next episode of the Empowered Immigrant Live. Thanks a lot. Have a great day. Take care. Bye-bye.